Hi, I'm Tim Gordon of the film Gordon, and welcome to Real Reviews. On this show, we discuss my views on upcoming films, where we invite you to experience film through the eyes of a true film addict. You can also read or listen to past reviews either on thefilmgordon.com or subscribe to this podcast on our YouTube channel. And we also invite you to follow us at Film Gordon on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Now, this week on the show, we discuss Coming to America, an upcoming comedy set after the events of the first film. The sequel follows former Prince Akeem Joffer, Eddie Murphy, as he is set to become King of Zamunda. He discovers that he has a son he never knew about in America, a street savvy Queens native named Lavelle, played by Jermaine Fowler. Now, honoring his royal father, James Earl Jones' dying wish to groom his son as the crown prince, Akeem and Semmi, played by Arsenio Hall, set off to America once again. Now, the film is directed by Craig Brewer from a screenplay by Kenya Barris, Barry W. Blostein, and David Sheffield from a story by Blostein, Sheffield, and Justice Canoe, based on characters created by Eddie Murphy. It's the second installment in the Coming to America film series and serves as a sequel to the original 1988 film. The film stars Murphy, Hall, Fowler, Leslie Jones, Tracy Morgan, Kiki Lane, Sherry Headley, Tiana Taylor, Wesley Snipes, and James Earl Jones. Now, from his meteoric rise and beginnings with 48 Hours and throughout the 1980s, Eddie Murphy quickly developed into a major force in the film industry. Starring in one blockbuster after another, Murphy soon became A-list royalty, and as the decade of the 80s closed, he created his most popular and enduring story with the release of Coming to America. The sweet story of a young prince who comes to America in search of love and life partner became an enduring cultural landmark that is arguably the funniest film from the iconic comedian. Now, over the years, fans have longed for a return cinematic trip to the fictional African country of Zamunda, and as the years turned into decades, it seemed like a reunion would fade into history. While they waited, another fictional African country, Wakanda, further puts Zamunda into the background. But suddenly in 2019, Murphy announced that his friends and collection of characters would once again revisit Zamunda. Palpable excitement was soon replaced by a feeling of dread. Would the sequels live up to the enormous expectations of the original, or would the sequel diminish the legacy of the cultural classic? Now, many of the comedic bits that fans remember from the original film return in this continuation of the ZCU, the Zamunda Cinematic Universe. And in addition, many of the original cast members also return, and instead of opening with Akeem's 21st birthday, as the original did, the 30th wedding anniversary of Akeem and Lisa serves as the film's kickoff. Now, as Akeem ponders his eventual rule as the king, he receives a visit from a rival ruler, General Aziz, played by Wesley Snipes, who threatens to overthrow his kingdom due to the fact that he has not sired a male heir, as well as Akeem spurning his sister Amani, Vanessa Bell Calloway, for Lisa. Now, even though the crown prince has three daughters, including his oldest, Princess Mika, played by Lane, who is more than capable of ruling, General Aziz senses weakness. Later, Akeem is summoned by his ailing father, King Joffer, James Earl Jones, who informs him that his time is short, and his final request is a star-studded pre-departure celebration. Now, in addition, he also informs Akeem that he has an illegitimate son from his initial trip to America, and requests that Akeem bring the boy back to Zamunda and groom him as his heir. Before you can say sexual chocolate, Akeem and Semmi are on their way back to America. Now, much of what comes next is eerily similar to situations from the original film. You know, the interactions in the barbershop or flashbacks of Akeem and Semmi in the club back in the day. Meanwhile, another member of the ZCU, Calvin Duke, played by Colin Jost, grandson of the infamous Duke brothers from Trading Places, interviews Lavelle, who unknowingly is pursued by his royal destiny. He meets his long-lost father and is encouraged to come back to Zamunda with his unrefined mother, Mary, played by Leslie Jones, in tow. Their arrival and subsequent reveal of Akeem's parentage creates tension in his marriage as well as confusion among his daughters. And looking for an opportunity to consolidate their kingdoms, General Aziz offers his daughter Bopopo to Prince Lavelle. Now, will this arranged marriage take place, or will Lavelle follow in the footsteps of his father and find his queen? Co-written by Kenya Barris, the film's first act gets off to a rocky start as several new characters are introduced, and while their motives are clear, their execution is woefully lacking. We see Akeem struggling to assume the mantle of leadership of Zamunda, placing country over family. He has lost his way as he tries to please everyone, and everyone, including himself, are exactly the opposite. Barris's screenplay picks up the pace beginning in the second act, finding his footing as Prince Lavelle stops trying to be a native Zamundian, and with the assistance of his buck-wild Uncle Reem, Tracy Morgan, he brings some much-needed Queen swag to the stuffy African nation. As he struggles dealing with the challenges of growing into a prince, Lavelle develops an easy rapport with his royal groomer, Marimbe, played by Nozama Bambata, and soon he has stars in his eyes. Guess where this is going? While not as uproariously funny as the original Coming to America, the film successfully updates the story by adapting to the changing times, and not just in Zamunda, but taking in all the changes that have occurred since the release of the original film. Messages of female empowerment, gentrification of the old Queens neighborhood, and even the dynamic of the mature relationship between Lisa and Akeem all received much needed updates. There are plenty of surprises in the ZCU, and you are encouraged to pretend that you're watching a Marvel film and stay throughout the end credits to see which characters return. Now, it's often said that you can't go home again, but a mature Murphy coming off his hit film Dolomite Is My Name proves to be resilient. Now, while the film does not offer as many laughs as the original, Zamunda appears to be in great hands, and hopefully we won't have to wait another 3 decades for a return trip to the second coolest fictional African country on film. I gave Coming to America a C+. Now, the film will debut this Friday, March 5th on Amazon Prime. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel or read current or past reviews on thefilmgordon.com. You can also follow us at Film Gordon at Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Thank you, and we'll see you guys on the other side. Enjoy your day.